Hey guys, what's going on? WhiteFox1225 here, and today I have another video on Elder Scrolls Online. I wanted to post a little bit this weekend, but I just got the game and it was launch weekend, so I decided to kind of take a weekend off to enjoy the game, and also by playing more, I'd have more to talk about. So we will have Elder Scrolls Online Saturday coming this weekend. We have so much to talk about between the new Adventure Zone Craglorn, the trials, and I also want to talk a little bit about them charging a subscription fee so early into the 30 days, but anyway, let's save that for Saturday. Today I want to talk about the leveling and the skill placement in Elder Scrolls Online, and it's kind of going to be a guide. It's going to be the first guide for Elder Scrolls I'm doing, or Elder Scrolls Online I'm doing. So first let's talk about leveling, and I'm going to tell you guys how to level up, the best ways to do it, and then I'm going to give you suggestions about how to place your skills. So first let's talk about leveling. Questing. Questing is probably the number one way, it is the number one way to gain XP in the Elder Scrolls Online. Even small quests will give you XP, and the main quests and things like that will give you even larger chunks of XP. So really, the best way to do it is questing. Now, you guys might come from a lot of other MMOs where the best way to do it was to stand around a mob that kept respawning and just keep killing. And that is not the case at all in Elder Scrolls Online. And it's really good that they did that, because it makes you explore the world and do quests in order to gain level and experience, which is really good. Next, exploration is extremely important. Finding the location is extremely easy as just walking up to it, and you will get a good chunk of XP. Finding like 10 locations is probably the same amount of XP as completing a medium-sized quest. So exploration is really key to leveling up. I'd make sure you find at least most of all the locations in the zone before you leave it, if not all of them. Now lastly, a really good way to level up is to level up your skills. So if you just have a little chunk that you need to fill in order to get to the next level and you want to do it quick, try playing around with the type of weapon that you never use. And when that skill levels up, you'll get a chunk of XP. So that's just a few ways to level up, but those are the best way, and it's also the way that you get the most XP. But you'll also get a lot of XP from killing world bosses, which is like the little skull icon on your map. Doing dungeons will get you a lot of XP. Now, they get you a lot more XP than just doing a few quests. Unfortunately, there's only one or two dungeons in each zone, so you're gonna have to kind of wait in order to do that. That's why it's not one of the best ways to level up, but if you do it, you will get a lot of XP. And that brings me to my next one. Even in small dungeons, killing bosses will give you a good amount of XP. So if you guys want to group up and take some of those down, you will get a lot of XP from that. And then lastly, my last piece of advice for leveling is that PvE is a lot better than PvP. Not saying you shouldn't do PvP, it's really fun, really enjoyable, but if you're looking to level up fast, you gotta go PvE, because that really is the best way to do it. Also, exploration is really important. I know I talked about how you get XP from it, and you do, but also exploration is gonna find you new quests, and if you don't explore the zone, you're gonna miss some, and missing some will give you less XP than the person who did all of them, so make sure you are exploring around. The world is great to explore, so just make sure you're doing that. And also, just a quick tip is that you should really group up. Grouping up, it seems like you get more XP, your group is just doing a lot better, moving through dungeons faster, so grouping up is really a good way to level up pretty fast. So that's it for my leveling guide. Now I want to go into skill placement. Now before I start skill placement, I just wanted to add that leveling up isn't the only way to get skill points in Elder Scrolls Online, which I'm sure you guys know. Finding 3 sky shards will get you a skill point, and also finishing really any main story quest will get you a skill point. So make sure you guys are doing that, and if you want a quick skill point. If you do want to find a sky shard quick, you can find them through exploration, but also there are a lot of guides online that'll show you all the locations in a zone. So skill placement, let's talk about that. So there are a lot of skills in Elder Scrolls Online, and if you're already into one skill line and you want to change up your playstyle, you can most definitely do that. But if you want to make the most of your skills, you're going to want to know what you kind of want to do before you start investing your skills. So what I would recommend for new players is play around with a couple different weapons before you start. Even if you liked bows in Skyrim, you might hate the archery in Elder Scrolls Online. It's very different. So I'd play around with some melee weapons, play with some ranged weapons, some staffs, see what you like, and then decide what skill line you want to invest in. Next, make sure you look at the passives. Sometimes it's really cool to get a new attack, something to plug in on your hotbar, but the passives can be extremely helpful. If you're a Nord, you can get up to 15% health regeneration. Things like that are really going to help you in combat, in PvP and PvE, so make sure you're looking at the passives, because although the buffs can seem small, they're going to play a big they're going to give you a huge advantage to someone who's not investing in the passives when you're in PvP, and it's going to give you a huge edge in PvE against the NPCs. Now, don't rush to spend your skill points. I know when you get a skill point, it's kind of like getting a huge gift and you're like, what should I spend it on? But you don't want to rush into it. Make sure you think over your choices and just think about what you really need. Sometimes, like I said, passive is a lot more beneficial than another thing to plug into your hotbar. Remember, the hotbar only has 6 slots, so having 20 skills for the Nightblade isn't going to help you too much. So make sure you are thinking about your skills before you place them. Don't rush into it. And that brings me to this. Make sure you guys are looking up skills before you do them. I know the game does give you a little description, but online you can find guides that tell you which skills are better. You can even find video demonstrations about which skills are better than others, and they show off the skills. So if you want to see what one's like, make sure you look at that. Also, make sure you use your guildmates. Sometimes guildmates will have experience with a skill and they just say, nah, it's way underpowered, don't spend it. And then you'll know not to spend it on that specific skill. Next, talk to your guildmates before you invest a skill. If you're going to be playing with your guildmates a lot, you're going to want to know what they're doing. So if you have 20 tanks, maybe you want to start going to healing if that's something that interests you. Just another tip to help you guys in group play. Next, keep in mind that skills can be morphed, and sometimes morphing a skill is a lot better than buying a new one. So if you already have a skill, morphing is just going to make it more powerful. So a lot of times it's better to morph a skill that you've used a lot than get a new one. I know trying new stuff is cool, but morphing can really give you an edge against someone who just bought a skill. And lastly, keep in mind that you can find new skill lines out in the world. If you haven't played PvP yet, you'll get 2 new skill lines, and there's also the werewolf and vampire skill line. Joining guilds will give you new skill lines, and also keep in mind that lots of skill lines will be added post-launch. So again, don't be in a rush to spend your skills. If you know you're going to want that werewolf skills when you get that tree, make sure you save a few for it, because you never know what you're going to find out in the world. So that pretty much finishes it for this guide, guys. I will have more videos this week, and just a quick reminder, if you guys don't know, my Elder Scrolls Online guild is still recruiting. We're not going to take so many players, but we are still recruiting, so if you're interested, make sure you check it out. The link is in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.